Tatum, guys. It is our pleasure to have Jeremiah Tatum on this call. He's a regional director out of the beautiful state, the volunteer state of Tennessee. Lives in Cookeville, Tennessee. Jeremiah is going to share a little bit about his story and whatnot, but he was a preacher before this, and he's been here for a few years now. Jeremiah, if you look on the leaderboards, he's the number one agent in the entire company in Family Heritage. This year already, he's written over $661,000 worth of personal premium. Not his team, that's him individually writing that. Last week, he wrote over $67,000 worth of premium in a week. And yes, he is just absolutely on fire. And he's doing this while being a regional director and leading one of the biggest teams in the entire company as well. So he is personally producing, leading from the front to the 10th degree and still while field training. And he's always in different states, field training agents all over the place. So he's a workaholic. I love Jeremiah. He's awesome. And the best part about Jeremiah is that he's just a great human being. He's so fun to hang out with. Just a pleasure to hang. I can't wait to see him here in Puerto Vallarta here in a couple months. So, guys, Jeremiah is going to share a lot of stuff with us today. So make sure you're going to take a lot of notes. And yeah, we're just going to share. I just told Jeremiah he can really talk about whatever he wants to, because when you're number one in the agent, you can talk about whatever you want to talk about. And yeah, he's a stud, guys. So Jeremiah, we're going to shift things over to you, buddy.
Hey, thanks, Kyle. I appreciate you guys having me on. I'm just on my iPad here, and it's kind of sideways. So hopefully you can, I'm looking at you, not to the side of you. But yeah, well, good morning to everybody. It's only 7 o'clock here in Cookeville. We're about 50 miles west of the Eastern time zone. So the sun comes up early and goes to bed early here in Cookeville. Man, I hope you guys are having a great week. I hope you guys love what you do. I think one of the keys to being successful here is loving what you do. And I've been here since May of 2020, started during the pandemic. Man, that was a thing. But never had done sales before, only had been in ministry. I have my own personal story, but I don't want to talk about me. I know Kyle wanted to just let me chat with you guys about some things that I think will help you to have some success. About that 67,000, I hope it all sticks, right? But that was kind of a special thing. I've never written 60,000. I've never written 50,000. Before the week before, I'd never written 40,000. Okay. A few times I had written 30. So that was just something that had culminated over about a 2 or 3 year process in a business of about 25 to 30 employees where they didn't have any kind of health insurance. And I showed them how to get some health insurance through a contact at basically little to zero cost for the business. And then because the employer didn't have to make a contribution on the health insurance, he agreed to $100 a person on our program. And then I just kind of upsold it from there. We're doing, a draft out of their weekly checks. So wow, it turned into that business, 60,000 in one business. So that's crazy. I never thought I would ever have something like that happen. Just all submitted in 1 week. So is that ever going to happen again? I don't know. But anything's possible, folks. Anything's possible. So that's what you got to think about when you come to this business. When I started, didn't know sales, didn't know supplemental insurance, didn't even know there were cancer policies out there. And I'm a cancer survivor. So I didn't know that. But I did have my own personal story about how much it cost to go through cancer. And I did go through that for 4 years. And even though I had Blue Cross with insurance, we paid $200 a month to Vanderbilt for about 15 years, like a car payment. And that resonated with me about something that we have that's worthwhile. And so when I came to Family Heritage, I think besides Andy Santos is our agency owner, I came to Family Heritage really because of Andy. I trusted Andy. I liked Andy. I wanted to work with Andy, but also because of the premium return guarantee on our products. So we really do have something special that every day we go out and talk to people about, and they're like, what? Really? Are you serious? Your money back? How does that work? Right? Isn't that awesome? Isn't that a game changer? Isn't it nice to not be renting insurance to people, but to let them own a policy and to have control over their future if they go through major medical issues? That's awesome. So what has happened in the last 3.5 years is I've just had more and more belief in our company, in the products that we offer, and I would say in myself. I don't think that I'm great. I don't think I'm wonderful. I've got lots of issues. We're all works in progress, right? Thank you for the grace of God every day. There's not anything that's teachable about caring about the people. That has to be inside of you. If you don't care about other people, if you don't care about what's happened to them already and what could happen to them later, you don't need to be here. At the top of the list of the things that you do every day is STP, serve the people. And the guy who told me that, Marvin Delph, been here for 30 years. He was one of the triplets that played for Arkansas Razorbacks, along with Sidney Moncrief, and could have gone to the NBA, but instead he worked with Family Heritage for all these years. He lives in Conway, Arkansas, and he just told me one time when I met him, "Hey, Jeremiah, you'll do great if you just STP, serve the people." So think about this. You have a job that you get to go out every single day and serve others, and what you offer makes a difference in their life. Don't let anything be lost on that. Okay. Now, from there, what are you trying to do? Gain their trust. That's a hard thing to do if you don't know them. So you have to always use every single opportunity that you can to build those relationships that exist out there. Once you have clients, get referrals to clients that you have. Always be going to some place and always be coming from some place, right? You do business with everybody. Everybody loves what you have. Everybody does business with you. And those people out there that you get to talk to are lucky to get to talk to you. When I first started this job, I was like, man, I sure hope someone will talk to me. I sure hope they'll not kick me out of their business. I don't feel like that anymore. Now I feel like, boy, they'll be lucky if they'll talk to me, right? And not because I'm special, but our products are special. And I know that they'll change their lives if they'll just sit down long enough to listen. Think about it. What's the biggest thing that you struggle with as far as selling a policy? It's getting people to give you enough time to actually show you the products. Because once you show them the products and you compare it with everything else on the market, they're going to love it. So you should have ultimate confidence in what you're selling. And you should think they're crazy if they don't sit down, right? But if you're always coming from some place you just were and you have appointments other places and you barely have enough time to speak to them, then they're going to be on your time instead of you being on their time. One of the biggest things about sales is perception of the potential buyer, right? And if they think that you're bothering them or you're bugging them or you're on their time, they're not going to buy from you. They're going to see you as a nuisance. Hey, people hate insurance, right? I actually have a brother-in-law who has a company called Enough Insurance, and his friend that he used to work with has a company called I Hate Buying Insurance. I mean, that's what it's called. He's like, let's just get that out of the way, right? This is the bane of our existence. We're renting something we may never use, right? So they already have that negative feeling towards what you're trying to provide for them. You have to change that. If I go into a business and they say, hey, I've only got 15 minutes to talk to you. I said, that's great. I've only got 10. Now they're on my time. I'm busy and I do business with everybody. And they're lucky to have that 10 minutes of my time. Until you take yourself seriously, no one else is going to take you seriously. And I thought about all those times I drove out to broken appointments, or I told people I was going to be there and they didn't show up, or they said they were going to buy tomorrow and I came back and they had changed their mind, or they had purchased it and they took it home to their spouse and their spouse said, we don't need to take this out of our bank account right now. I try to avoid all of that as much as I possibly can and let them know that they're basically in a burning house that they don't know is burning, and I'm going to pluck them out of it if they'll listen to me. And later on, they're going to thank me. They're going to thank me because I got them insured for a bad day. When it happens, they're going to get a pile of money. Or they're going to thank me because they were smart enough to put a little bit of money aside for later on, and someone's going to bring them a check for about $20,000 or $30,000 or more of tax-free money, maybe in their retirement age when they're on a fixed income. And that's going to be the smartest insurance decision that they ever made. So these are some of the things that I would say to all the agents that you have to do in order to have success. And that is be confident in yourself, be confident in what you're selling, be confident in the company, and then do everything you possibly can to get people to talk to you. And if they don't, let them know that they're making a mistake. And walk out of there with your head held high, not your tail between your legs, and go to the next place and sell a policy or sell several policies. Okay, the next thing I would say is you have to work hard. I wish that I could, hit the easy button, right? Hit the easy button like they do at Staples. This is like the hardest job I've ever had. It's hard, right? And we always tell that tell that or say that successful people do the things that unsuccessful people are not willing to do, right? That's a fact. Okay. So if I've had some success, it's only by the grace of God, but I did do this by shoe leather express. All right. It's like every single opportunity that's ever come my way, I had to make it happen. You can't go inside a Walmart unless your feet hit the pad and the door opens. You're the one who has to make the approaches. You're the one who has to get out of your car. You're the one who has to have a schedule every day. You're the one that has to have this many demos every single day. If I was talking to a new agent, I would just tell them to do the exact same thing that I did. Demo, demo, demo. Sales talk, sales talk, sales talk. Do that for about 6 months, at least 8 hours a day. Do your 20 to 30 approaches a day. Do your 5 to 8 demos a day. Until you do that, you will not have any success here in this business. I wish there was some other way to do it. People have tried, but there's a reason why we have a system. And I didn't know how to do a higher level of sales. I didn't know how to talk about Medicare benefits or health insurance or get people on health markets insurance and save them money on their insurance so they could buy supplemental plans. I didn't know how to get into businesses and how businesses had to comply if they had 50 employees or more. I didn't know how to, change all of that. All I knew is that I needed to know what our products were. I needed to know them in and out. I needed to know every single objection that could possibly happen. And the only way that actually happens is by you having the conversations, by having 30 conversations a day, by having people object and object and object and object. In this business, you win by losing. You succeed by failing. That's it. It's just like any other thing that you ever are going to be any good at. The people that do it the most, who practice the most, who get to the gym first and leave the gym last, are the people that are going to be successful here. And you have to decide what your business wants to look like, what you want it to look like. Okay. Maybe you don't want to sell 300,000 in a year or 400,000 a year. Maybe you don't want to build a team, but whatever you decide to do, it's going to only happen because you're the one who decides to get it done. So yeah, I work a lot. I do. Is that good? I don't know, but I'm doing it so I don't have to work a lot later. I had a trigonometry teacher when I was a junior in high school tell me, Jeremy, this is when I went by Jeremy when I was a kid. He said, you really have two choices. You can work really hard now and you'll be able to kind of take it easy later, or you can take it easy now and you can work hard for the rest of your life. And I will say this, in this particular business, more than any other business or job that I've ever been in, your work, your effort, your tenacity, your desire is more, it's rewarded more than anything else I've ever put my hand to. So think about that. You can make a huge difference in your life, in the lives of your family, in just 5 years here. But it's not going to be a 5 easy years. It's going to be 5 hard years. And I know that's kind of like, we get on these calls and it's like, rah, rah, shish, bim, bah, everybody go to work, everybody work harder than the next person, all that stuff. And sometimes that gets old. But a person that's convinced against their will never will. So I could try to get you to do that, or Kyle could try to get you to do that, or anybody else, but you have to want it. You have to desire it. It has to be your will. It has to be your decision. And then once you've made the decision, then it's kind of just all about getting it done. Kyle did ask me to say something about my daily routine. So after I got cancer, let's see how long I've been talking here. All right, 7:15, 8:15. After I got cancer at age 31, I went through 4 years of surgeries, radiation, trying to overcome that. I didn't eat good, didn't eat well, didn't exercise, right? So my last surgery was in 2008. I was 35 years old at that time. And first of the year, January 1st, 2009, a bunch of guys at church were like, we're all going to the gym, New Year's resolution. And we've all done that, right? It's like, when we read through the Bible in a year, quit in February in the book of Leviticus, right? That's how we are, right? We stop the diet, we stop the exercise. Well, I was on the other side of cancer. So I didn't really have any time to goof off about this. If I was going to get healthy, if I was going to eat right, if I was going to exercise, it was now or never, or else I was going to die. So I started to work out a little bit. I couldn't even bench press the bar. That's sad. Okay. That's just me admitting that. And then, I got to jogging a little bit, and then walking and jogging. And then before you knew it, in April, I was doing a 5K. And by the end of the year, I ran my first half marathon. And then 2 years later, I got talked into a marathon by some guys at church, and we trained for it, and I ran it. Now I've run 35 marathons and Boston Marathon 9 times in a row. So how did that happen? It didn't happen because I didn't will it or because I didn't desire it. I already did my 7-mile run this morning. You get up, you get your coffee, you get your run in, you exercise, whatever it is you do in the morning. That routine, the consistency of that routine is what sets you up for success every single day. And you're going to just have to do things sometimes while other people are sleeping, or you're going to have to do things that are work while other people are on vacation. And I know that sounds, again, like go out to work and go work harder than everybody else. That's not necessarily the case. It's just whatever you desire to do, you have to have a plan of action in order to take that to where it needs to go. And I would just, if I could tell any person to have what they need to do to have success here, you have to have a routine, you have to have a schedule, you have to not break it, you have to do what you say you're committed to doing. One of the things that is the most frustrating things in my life right now is that my team, people on my team, won't put their stats in. They won't put their stats in. I put my stats in every night religiously, whether I sold a policy or not. It's just like brushing my teeth before I go to bed. Why? Because only the things that are measured ever get improved. And if we want to get better, we have to see what we did today. And even if you didn't sell a policy today, the fact that you went out there and worked 8 hours, you can hang your hat up on that. And you can say to yourself, you know what? I'm a good person. I served the people today. I went out and did what I said I was going to do. And this is how many demos I did. And this is how many, policies I sold or whatever. This is how many appointments that I set. And just the consistency of that, you're kind of just owning the fact that this is who you are, right? You're not selling products. You are not selling products. You're not an insurance salesman, okay? You are a human being who is out there working to help other people, who works for Family Heritage, who is educated in supplemental health insurance and things that surround that, and you're bringing value to the world. You have to take some ownership over that and identity over that. This is not a job that you have temporarily. Your vocation and your occupation is who you have become. And I think when you do that, good things will happen. Okay, last few things, just some technical things. Am I still good, or am I boring you guys? A couple more things. Is that all right?
You're still good.
Okay. Some of the things that helped me get to where my closing percentage went from, like, I don't know, what's everyone's closing percentage when you start? Like 10%, 15%, maybe 20%. I think company-wide, 18%. Well, probably over the last year, mine's like 70%. If I get a demo, 3 out of 4 people close to that are going to buy. Why? Because now I have lots of names and stories. I always have names and stories. I always use clients. I always make them do a lot more talking than I used to do, right? Let them sell the policy to themselves. Build a relationship with them and show them that you care. There's a connection between protecting people and caring for people, and then also closing people for their best interest. So I try to tell them, like, this is like buying life insurance, guys. How many people die? 100% of people die, right? So who needs life insurance? Everybody. When are you going to be able to buy it? When's the best time to buy it? Yesterday, while you can still qualify, while it's still cheap. Everybody wants this before it's too late, right? Everybody wants it when it's too late. Suzanne Worrell told me that. She's a State Farm agent about 0.2 of a mile from where I'm sitting right now. And I didn't even walk into her office for 2 years because I was afraid to talk to insurance people about insurance. I went in there, sold her all the policies. And she said, hey, everybody wants this before it's too late. She's been working for State Farm when it's too late. She's been working for State Farm for 37 years. She's never seen refundable supplemental cancer policies. She's like, where were you? This stuff's awesome. I'll tell everybody that I know. So now both of the mayors of my town and my county have this policy. My State Farm agents and my Farm Bureau agents that are friends of mine, and my Country Financial agents that are friends of mine. And one of the city mayors, her husband's a Farm Bureau agent. He bought our cancer policy, right? We have great products. So You got to get people insurable before it's too late. You have to have a come to Jesus with them somewhere in your demo. I don't care where you put it in. That, look, I'm going to pretend like I'm your brother, I'm your best friend, I'm your dad, I'm your sister, whatever. And 6 months from now, I know you're going to get cancer. That's just how insurance works. That's why everybody buys it, because stuff just happens to people, and this is your day. This is the time for you to buy it. This is the only time that I can guarantee you that you're going to be protected. And later on, if you don't do this, you're going to have a lot of regret. And then I'll tell them 3 or 4 people, stories of people that I almost sold, that then had a heart attack or stroke 6 months later, were in the hospital for a month, missed work. I have stories right here in town of people that didn't buy, had incidents happen to them, and they weren't ready. You've got to have that particular conversation. Also in the, we don't want people dipping into their savings account. We don't want people selling assets. That's why supplemental insurance exists. Tell them this stat: 65% of all bankruptcy, medical bills. 80% of those people have health insurance. So don't tell me that you're insured and that you got plenty of coverage. You don't. When you go through cancer, take it from me. I had Blue Cross Blue Shield insurance. I didn't have enough coverage. So I'm just trying to help you. This is a no-brainer. You get all your money back on it. It's tax-free benefits. There's no cap. We have the best coverage in the country, the best customer service. I'm going to be right here holding your hand. I'm going to be your Facebook friend. This is how you make a claim. Let's see if you can qualify. I'm going to take it away from you. Now that I've told you all this, I'm going to take it away from you. I'm not going to push you. I'm just going to see if you can even get this. Okay, no, awesome. What's your address? That's what you do. And when it's over with, you tell them they made a smart buy. You ask them why you think it's a good idea, and you ask them who else you should show it to. And do that every day and believe in what you're selling. And sooner or later, you're going to have that first client that gets $50,000 for something that you sold to them, and then you'll be sold on this forever yourself. You can't sell anything you're not sold on yourself. Okay? So I believe in it. Go out there and protect people, keep on doing it. And every single time someone buys one of our products, they win. They win. And you tell them that. So anyway, that's all I got. I was kind of talking off the top of my head, but you can ask questions or tell me how terrible that was if you want.
Jeremiah, that was awesome. That was awesome. I'm going to leave it open to any comments or questions for Mr. Jeremiah.
So I have a question, Jeremiah. It's Brandy. So, one of the things that all new agents fear is talking to your friends and family, because your friends and family can be the hardest people to sell to, along with your church family. And I know, hey, I care about you. I want you to at least know what I'm doing. What would be your best approach for that, just so that, like you just said, kind of put the fear of God in them, because we know you're either going to heaven or hell. You got to make that decision. Really, this is the way I look at this, is it's no different. You're going to, the statistics are going to tell us that we're going to get it. But at the same time, I guess one of the things that I think I struggle with personally, and I think a lot of people in this could, is we don't want to come across as a salesperson, because we're not, but we want them to be protected when the bad things happen. And so what would be your best advice, just in the close-knit friends and family, on really just getting them to sit down with you and let them share with you exactly what you do and how we can help protect them?
Well, I would tell them first and foremost, I have something to share with you, but I want you to understand this is not about me. I don't need your business. I'm selling it to lots of people. It's an amazing product, but I care about you, and I would feel bad if I didn't share it with you. That would be the first thing I would say. But you do not have to buy this for me. This is for you. This is not for me. This is for you. Okay. And I would say that the same way about, as a minister, I was never heavy handed. I was never like, hey, you're going to hell if you don't come to church. No, no one's going to get, you're going to get a lot more people with sugar, right? Mm-hmm. I just love people, and I tell them I care about them. And the reason why I'm sharing what I know with them is because, I'm a sinner. I've got my own issues, but I found something that changed my life, and now it gives me security and peace. And I wish you just listen for a few minutes and then understand this is not for me. This is for you. Someone else shared this with me. Now I'm sharing it with you. And if something happens to you and you're not ready for this, then I'm not going to be okay with myself. Again, you don't have to sign up for it, but I'll show you why I signed up for it. I'll show you why the other family members and friends that I have signed up for it. And if you want to compare this with every single other product of its kind, this is the best one that's out there. So again, I think I would just say, if you trust me, if you believe in me, and if you believe that I would never steer you wrong, I'm just going to put this out in front of you. I'm going to show you how this works, and then it's totally up to you. But I am going to share this with you, and our relationship's going to be the same whether you sign up for this or not. But at least I was able to educate you on something that I know, and I would hope that we have a good enough relationship that if you knew something that I didn't know, that you knew that I needed to know, you would share it with me, right? Or if we have a real relationship, we'll sometimes have hard conversations about maybe even bad behavior that I have and bad tendencies that I have. And you're like, hey, Jeremiah, do you realize how obnoxious you've become? Do you realize, like, how you talk right over the top of people and you interrupt them? Like, people that care about us, right, will just go ahead and say, hey, you need to get together. And if we have a relationship that's strong, we can have hard conversations with people, or we can share with them things that we're passionate about, and it's not going to be a problem. They don't have to buy. We just want them to listen, right?
Yes. Thank you.
Yeah, because I've sold it to all my friends and family. The ones that don't have it, they're dumb. I love them, but they're dumb.
I have a question. What percentage of the time do you wear your Globe Life shirt in the past year versus 100%. A plain shirt?
100% of the. Yeah, that's a great question, because like you walk in and they're like, they look at that and they're like, oh, insurance. Then it's like roaches when the lights come on, right? That can be that way. Or other times it's just like, oh, you're legit. You work for a company and you represent them. I decided it was better to show representation and pride in what I'm doing than to be afraid of the fact that they think I'm an insurance guy. I want them to know that's what I do, right? That's what I'm in there for. And we might as well go ahead and get that out of the way, right? But I think it's better to be able to represent the company and show yourself as a licensed agent, regional director, whatever, because I think it validates what you're doing. It's my opinion. Khakis and a polo every day. That's all I do. Middle of the road, right? I can talk to the lawyers and I can talk to the guys working behind the car.
When you're cold calling, what's your go-to approach, like the Jeremiah approach?
I'm always dropping names. I just came from these places. I know it sounds just like the sales talk or whatever, but if I'm walking in and I know a business and I'm like, hey, I just came over from Self Sanitation, Chris over there. Yeah. And I'm going to use the names. I'm going to use well-known names, power names, the first thing that I say. And I'm going to tell them about appointments that I already have. And I just had a couple minutes for them. And so they either have a couple minutes right now, or they've got next Tuesday at 10 o'clock, because that's the only thing that's on my book. And if they don't have time for that, they're not going to get to talk to me for a month. Just like everybody does business with me, that's the conversation I'm going to have. I only have a few minutes with them. I have enough time just to give them at least a brief rundown of what we're doing, either set up a group enrollment, set up a person to buy, set up an appointment for later. But I'm going to tell you right now, you want a yes, a no, or an appointment. Nothing in between. You don't have time for that. You don't have time for maybes and come back laters and that. It's yes, no, appointment.
Hey, Jeremiah, this is awesome stuff. I love your mindset. Like, your first year, roughly, like, how much of your business was just going down the street, B2B to B2B, cold calling? And then now, what does it look like from the percentage of business that you do just from straight still going down the street? Or is it mostly now in phase 2, which is like enrollments, resurfacing? What is that, I guess, that kind of look like now, your everyday life, compared to whenever you first started in your first year?
100% at the beginning was all cold calls. 100% cold calls. Like, do that for about a year and a half. Okay. That's just life. You're cold calling. That's what you do. You're a door-to-door salesperson. Own it. Don't try to go around it. And you're not going to be able to repeat it in front of other people unless you still do it. You're not going to be able to teach them to do it unless you're willing to do it yourself. So I'm still in the trenches all the time, cold calling, even if I have appointments, even if I have referrals, even if I'm reservicing people. I'm like, yeah, I need to probably do 3 or 4 cold calls a day anyway, just because. And you don't really ever get out of that, because even in leadership, you can't forget how. But of course, it's going to go down. You know, it's not 100% cold calls anymore. It's nice to have clients. It's nice to have 2,000 clients. I had someone call me today apologizing for not signing up the 5 times I went in there, and they like asked to buy an accident policy over the phone. Okay, why? Well, they got hurt. Now they realize they blew it, and it's too late to, you know, so I better go ahead and go pick that up, right? And then it actually happened because Tiffany Belvin says, hey, can you sign up Megan Davis? And she's like, because, you know, she's the one girl in here that didn't get this policy when you signed up, and now she's hurt herself and she's going to be off work for a surgery. And she's like, what do I do? So she called me and we set it up. So that's nice, right? You sooner or later, the work that you're putting in is going to make your job easier. Don't worry, it does get easier. You won't cold call for the rest of your life all day long. But yeah, there is reservicing, which I need to get better at. There is going to being a part of the Chamber of Commerce, you know, being part of the NTI or the BNI group meetings and getting referrals from small business owners there. You just find every way that you can to sell a policy, right? You sell it to everyone with a bank account and a pulse. That's what I say. Anyone who could qualify. But I would say percentage wise, I still cold call at least 20 to 30% of the time.
If you had to name a client that is your bread and butter personally, you probably have that statistic. What would it be?
Yeah, anybody that's like a hairstylist, nail tech. Why? Because I just walk in there and I sit down, and I don't do the cold, like the regular approach. I just go in and I sit down. There's chairs. By the way, anytime there's a chair in a business, the fact that we don't go sit in it before we start talking is the dumbest thing ever. Because what we're trying to get is sit down. They provided the chair. That's for you. Go sit down. So I'll go into a hair salon. I'll sit down before I talk. And then they'll say, hey, do you have an appointment? I'm like, no. You want your haircut? No. What are you doing in here? Oh, I'm here to help you. I help all these other salons. I've helped hundreds of salons. Oh, yeah. What do you do? And I'm, well, when's the last time you got paid for not being here? Well, that's never happened, right? You're never going to get paid for not being here, right? Well, what I do is I help people like you have money coming into their pocket when medical things happen to them and it makes it impossible for them to be here. Really? They'll listen to that every time, right? It's so yeah, I can if I don't have anywhere else that is listening to me, I can get some hairstylists and hair salons to listen to me. Those girls are concerned. They've all had to, every single time they go on vacation, they have to pay themselves twice, right? And every single time they're out for anything, they don't make any money at all. So think about that. I'll reboot myself on that when I can't get anyone else to talk to me, just to get myself, my confidence back. Here's the other thing that I've learned to do. I was training some guy up in Kentucky, a new guy, and we were just getting our butts handed to us all morning. It got to be about noon. No one wanted to listen to me today. I'm like, okay, I'm stopping right now. Families for Protection list. Let's just go through it. I went through it. I mean, I was 3 hours away. I was up by Louisville, and I just found a couple of names on that list. And I was like, here's a really, really strange name. It's got like, her last name looks like an eye chart. I'm going to Facebook her name. So I Facebooked this girl's name, found out where she worked. I walked into the business, said, is Lucy here? And she's like, yeah. I'm like, hey, I'm from Family Heritage. You're one of our clients. When did you sign up for that? ... Oh yeah, 10 years ago when I was at such and such place. Well, I'm here to make sure that you have what you need. Who signed you up? Oh, John Madrigal signed you up. Awesome. Yeah, he went and did all the county and the city benefits, but now I'm working here as the person who's over the HVAC company. She was the HR person over the HVAC company. She was one of our clients. She had wellness visits to do. She hadn't talked to her agent in 2 or 3 years. All of a sudden, she let us do an enrollment with her business, right? She's telling everybody in here, oh yeah, you need to buy this. I bought this 10 years ago. Use the Family for Protection list. It's right there. It's like, these are clients. You can do that too if you're struggling. Go talk to someone who has us and who likes us. It'll make you feel better about yourself.
So when you're going into like a hair salon, are they not busy? Like, I don't know. Like I have terrible luck going into hair salons because every time I go in there, they're always busy.
Well, I'll just say, hey, we talked to all you guys. You're always busy. The only time I can usually talk to you is when one of the girls is processing or something like that, or if we have an appointment before or after work. But I've got a whole bunch of places to go. I've got 3 other hair salons to see. I just came from Rebecca's place. She said, come over here and talk to you. So do you mind if I talk to you in front of your client? And the client's like, no, go ahead, talk to her. And then I sell it to someone sitting in the chair. Like this week, both of the ladies that I sold some stuff to when I was training a guy, of course, he got the policies. I gave them to him. The people in the chair had cancer, had a cancer policy, and got paid like $30,000 on their cancer policy. And they're like, "Oh, girl, you got to buy this. In fact, you need to buy the highest coverage you can possibly buy." It's crazy, but you just do that. You belong in there, right? You're helping them. Every hair salon is different. Like if you go into one of the higher ones, like the newer ones, and they got a person there at the front desk and they're way in the back and you can't even have access to them, that's a different situation where you've got to say, okay, who's the owner of this salon? When can I sit down and talk with them? We have this program that pays cash directly to everybody. Everybody in here needs it. Here are all the salons we work with. Make an appointment. But I probably sold 20 cancer policies to people that were sitting in the chair getting their hair done. You just talk about it because it's important.
Thank you, Jeremiah. Guys, we're running up on time. I know Jeremiah's got a busy day. Thank you, Jeremiah, for giving us your time today. This was awesome stuff. And yeah, man, can't wait to see you in Puerto Vallarta, my friend, here in 2 months. Yeah,
guys, appreciate you guys and best wishes. And I respect all of you so much. What we do is hard, but it's worth it. So just keep doing it.
Thank you, sir. Words of wisdom. I got so many good notes here. All right, guys, we're going to wrap up today. So it is Thirsty Thursday. So, guys, make sure you use the notes that Jeremiah just shared, and let's go take action. Like I said, it's not easy, but it's worth it. Work hard now, and you can play later in life, or you can play now and have to work hard for the rest of your life. That was a game-changing comment that he made that really resonated with me. So, guys, let's all go work hard now so we can play later in life. And it is double bonus month here in October, which this is very rare that there's a double bonus month. So let's take advantage while we still can. And STP, serve to protect, serve the people today. STP, make sure that you have a heart on service. Do your best, let God do the rest. And we'll see you guys tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. All right, have a great day, everybody.